All right, VYG, so we're back with another tip, and we're gonna have a little break from our usual format for this 21 days. Some of you already know that we're in the 21 days fast of Daniel for the seeking of the Holy Spirit. And if you want to know more about what this fast really is about, well, we've already got videos up speaking about it, so you can just check those. We'll leave them in the description box as well. So what I'm actually gonna be doing is answering some questions. And so if you actually have questions about the Holy Spirit, about the 21 days, you can send them in as someone has already done, and we'll answer them in upcoming videos during this fast. So the first question is, can I receive the Holy Spirit while being in a relationship? This is a really good one. And what I'm gonna do to help answer this question, I'm gonna ask you what you think. I'm gonna bring to you two real life scenarios that I've actually dealt with in the VYG before. And you tell me which of the two do you expect? You are not God, you are not the Holy Spirit, neither am I, but we can make our judgments as well. Which of the two do you think is more likely to receive the Holy Spirit? So first scenario, you've got a young guy or girl who's in a relationship, they've been with that person for a few months, maybe a year or so, and they are in the VYG. They find out about the Holy Spirit, and while they're in the VYG, their partner does not come to the youth group. They've invited them before, they refuse for one reason or another. And that person says, you know what, I want to receive the Holy Spirit, but while they're seeking God, they're still sleeping with their partner, their boyfriend or their girlfriend. They come to the youth meetings, they're active inside of their team, active in the church, you know, they evangelize, they're always there in the prayers. That's the first scenario. Second scenario, you've got a young man who he's actually living with his girlfriend. So of course you can be sure what they were doing together as well. They've been in a long-term relationship. But when he hears about the Holy Spirit, when he hears about getting closer to God, he actually makes a very drastic decision. He says, look, I'm not gonna sleep with my girlfriend until we're married, because I know that it's a sin, I know it's wrong, and I really want God to see that I'm serious about my faith. So two scenarios, I ask you, might be tough for you to decide. Which one of the two do you think would receive the Holy Spirit? I'm sure even you who are watching this now, you're new to church, you're new to faith. It's easy for you to see the one that God would be more pleased with, the one who's more likely to receive the Holy Spirit in the 21 days. And actually, these scenarios were not just made up from my head. These are actually real scenarios that I've dealt with. The first one I deal with all the time. The second one, I've actually seen that once. I remember a young man in the very first church that I was sent to when I was an assistant pastor, the first youth group I dealt with. And I remember this young man, very early on to him coming to the church, he took things so seriously. And he received the Holy Spirit so quickly, but so quickly. He was in the church maximum, maybe a month or so. And of course, it's so easy to see, because though he was in a relationship, and actually today he's married to that same young lady, both of them have the Holy Spirit serving God for a while now. He really took it seriously and knew that if he wanted to have a relationship with God, he couldn't have a relationship that goes against God. So the problem isn't whether you're in a relationship or not. The issue is why. If you're a young person and you're just there for fun or because you don't want to be alone, but you've still got years ahead of school, then that's not likely that you're in a serious relationship based on the way the Bible wants you to be in one. That young man I'm talking about was actually committed to that girl. They were living together. They had plans to spend the rest of their lives together, but of course, they were living in a way that goes against God, and they fixed that. And again, now they're married. They can do what a married couple does. And now they're both filled with the Holy Spirit. So I hope that clarifies that doubt. And always we advise, if you're very young, you've got years of education ahead, now's not the time for a relationship. Focus on God. And especially if your partner doesn't want anything to do with faith, well, you're not married to them yet. It's different from someone coming here and they're already married. We're not going to tell them divorce the person just because they don't share your faith. But if they don't share your faith now and you're only dating, why would you commit your time to them? Yeah, so I hope that clears that up. If you have any further questions on that, you can ask. And I'll go to a second one. I'll go to a second one because I think it sort of links in to what we already discussed, and it shouldn't be that long to answer. Why is there a difference between people receiving the Holy Spirit? Some can receive him this year and others takes longer for them to receive the Holy Spirit. It even goes a bit deeper and says, or some are in the church for years, yet still without the Holy Spirit, but others in the church for months and receive the Holy Spirit. So I think now you can see what it's all about. It's the level of the person's surrender. God doesn't look around in the VYG meetings and say, oh, I like the color of that one's hair. Oh, I like, the shirt that he's wearing, so I'll give them the Holy Spirit sooner. Nothing to do with that. It's not even all about your knowledge of the Bible, because I've seen some of these people who take years to receive the Holy Spirit. They're the ones with the church background and think they know so much of the Bible. It's just about your surrender. And you feel like that young man who I already spoke about, who was willing to make such a deep sacrifice to show to God that he wants him more than anything else, then it will not take long. If it has taken long so far, just check yourself. Have you been surrendering all? Because the moment that you do, the Holy Spirit will come upon you. So there you have it, VYG. I hope these 2 questions being answered was helpful to you. And again, we'll leave the details on the screen for you to know how you can contact us and send us your questions. And next week, Friday, we'll be back with more answers. Make sure you apply them, and I'm sure soon you'll become the youth you were always meant to be. Take care. God bless.